Imagine setting out on the trip of a lifetime, a cross-country drive from Florida to California. But somewhere on a quiet road near the Mexican border, the journey stops cold. A Jeep and camper abandoned, a handwritten note demanding assets be transferred, and a woman gone without a trace. This is a chilling disappearance of Ganna Kovrizhynkh, and nothing about it makes sense. Imagine setting out on the trip of a lifetime, a cross-country drive, Florida to California, thousands of miles of open road, new places, and the freedom of starting fresh. But somewhere in Southern California, just miles from the Mexican border, that dream turned into silence. A Jeep and camper abandoned, a handwritten note, cryptic, chilling, a mother receiving instructions to transfer her daughter's assets, and a woman gone without a trace. This is a haunting case of 38-year-old Ganna Kovrizhynkh, the Florida woman whose disappearance during a road trip in 2025 remains one of America's most baffling unsolved mysteries. Ganna lived in Hallandale Beach, Florida, a coastal city just north of Miami. Friends describe her as adventurous, fiercely independent, and someone who thrived on experiencing life. She wasn't reckless. She was careful, thoughtful, and always planned ahead. In the summer of 2025, she decided to embark on something bold, a solo cross-country trip from Florida to California. She prepared her Jeep, attached her camper, and set off. This wasn't a running-away trip. To her, it was freedom, exploration, the kind of adventure that makes life worth living. And for much of her journey, everything seemed fine. She checked in with loved ones. She documented her drive. She was on track. But on July 5th, 2025, while driving through San Diego County, California, Ganna made what would become her last known contact. After that, radio silence. No more calls. No more updates. Days later, her Jeep and camper were discovered abandoned in Potrero, California. Potrero is not a bustling city. It's a rural community, rugged, quiet, and just 10 miles from the Mexican border. The location immediately raised red flags. Her vehicles weren't hidden. They weren't destroyed. They weren't stripped. They were just there, sitting as though she had stepped out for a moment and never returned. But what investigators uncovered next made this case spiral into something much darker. Ganna's mother received a package, a handwritten note, and a photograph with GPS coordinates. The note contained one shocking instruction: transfer her assets. It wasn't a friendly update. It wasn't a casual message. It was deliberate. It was urgent. And it was unnerving. Why would Ganna, in the middle of a road trip, suddenly send her mother coordinates and tell her to move her assets? Was she in danger? Was she planning her own disappearance? Or had someone else written the note entirely? Handwriting analysis was never conclusive. Some experts say it looked like Ganna's. Others argue it seemed forced, inconsistent, or even forged. And that leads to the first big question. Was it the author of the note, or was it someone else trying to mislead investigators? Because of Potrero's location, close to the border, authorities immediately considered the possibility that Ganna crossed into Mexico. The theory is chilling but not impossible. Maybe she vanished voluntarily, stepping into a new life under a different name. Maybe she was lured or forced across. Maybe she crossed without official detection. But here's the problem. There's no official record of her ever entering Mexico. No passport scan. No camera footage. No entry log.in 2025. Border technology is strict. It's not easy to disappear in that stretch of land unless someone knows exactly how to bypass the system. So, if she didn't cross into Mexico, where else could she gone? Some online communities speculate that Ganna staged her disappearance, that she wanted out of her old life, out of her obligations, out of the identity she had carried for nearly 4 decades. But that theory has holes. She had no outstanding debts, no criminal cases, no major personal crises. By all accounts, her life in Florida was stable. Her family insists she had no reason to run, which makes the note about transferring assets even stranger. Others look toward foul play. Potrero isn't just a sleepy rural town. It's close to known smuggling corridors. Human trafficking, cartel activity, and organized crime have all been documented in the region. Could Ganna have been in the wrong place at the wrong time? Could someone have targeted her specifically, using the note to make her disappearance look voluntary? If that's the case, then who wrote it? Who had access to her handwriting? Who knew enough about her financial life to demand her mother transfer her assets? The investigation moved quickly at first. Local authorities scoured the Potrero area. Border Patrol was notified. Interpol was brought in. Leads were chased down. Tips were followed. But as the days stretched into weeks, the case hit a wall. There were no confirmed sightings, no bank activity, no phone pings, no digital footprint. Ganna's trail ended the moment her Jeep and camper were left behind. Her vehicles were eventually towed. The note was logged as evidence. But beyond that silence, the media cycle moved on. Headlines faded. But for Ganna's family and for true crime communities, the mystery only deepened. And that's why the case of Ganna Kovrizhynkh is so haunting. It sits on the razor's edge of two terrifying realities. On one side, the possibility that she disappeared voluntarily, that she's out there somewhere under an alias, watching the world debate her story. On the other side, the darker theory that she was taken, manipulated, and silenced, her life stolen in plain sight. Which possibility do you believe? The unanswered questions remain as chilling today. Was a handwritten note truly hers, or a forged document planted to mislead? If she crossed into Mexico, how did she leave no trace in modern border systems? Who had the motive and knowledge to demand the transfer of her assets? Is Ganna living under a false identity, hiding in plain sight, or was she silenced before the truth could ever be revealed? And the most haunting question of all, was her disappearance voluntary, or is this the perfect unsolved crime? Her road trip was supposed to be freedom. Instead, it became her disappearance. Her road trip was meant to be freedom. Instead, it became a haunting mystery. A note, a border, a silence that has lasted ever since. Was Ganna running from her life, or was her life taken from her? Until the truth surfaces, her story remains one of the most mind-bending, unresolved disappearances in America. What do you think happened to Ganna Kovrizhynkh? Was she running from something, or was her life taken from her? Drop your theories in the comments below. And if you found this case as chilling as we did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more true crime mysteries that demand answers.